Welcome to Mission Control. This is all about the small things, the details that will help you with your understanding of control on the bike. It's all about bike setup and technique. Today we're looking at foot placement on the pedals. Riding a bike well is all about using your weight for technique. So think of your weight as your hips and moving them around on the bike. You should be able to see where riders' hips are just by looking at their feet. If their feet are flat on the pedals, it means your weight's above the bike in the centre. If your heels are down, it means your hips are to the back. If your toes are down, it means your hips are up and forward. Where you actually place your foot on the pedal, front to back, actually makes a big difference to how easy you find moving your weight around on the bike. I see an awful lot of people stand too far forward on their toes on the pedal. It means the ball of the foot is actually behind the axle. And that means they're hanging off their calf muscles. All their weight is going through their calves. And then to move around on the bike, they really start getting calf pump. And if your calves are hurting, that for me is a surefire sign you're standing too far forward on your toes. So try and shuffle your feet a little bit further forward. I would say for most people, aim to get the ball of your foot almost above the axle of the pedal. In fact, for me, coming from a downhill background where you spend a lot of time hanging off the back of the bike, I actually find sliding my foot ever so slightly further forward, so the ball of my foot is just in front of the axle, makes that a little bit easier to hang off the back of the bike. With my foot in that position, when I stand up into my neutral stance or ready position, whatever you want to call it, I'm generally slightly heel down, just standing in the middle of the bike. If I was further forward on my toes, that makes my stance much flatter on the pedal. And that starts becoming a problem, especially on flat pedals. When you start riding into some rough terrain, if your foot is dead flat on top of the pedal, it's really easy to start slipping and getting your weight forward, toes down, and getting that weight onto the bars, but hopefully not going over. When you slide your foot slightly further up forward and naturally ride slightly more heel down, that's what I then call being in the pedal. So now when the bike wants to slow down and you're heel down, you're actually just driving the bike forward and keeping your weight ever so slightly behind the pedals and behind the bars. So that heel down in the pedals is going to give you much more confidence riding through the rough stuff. On clip pedals, yes, you're not going to slide off the pedal, but again, if you're on your toes, that'll mean your cleat is quite far forward in the shoe. You can still start getting weight in front of that pedal when you hit obstacles, and getting too much weight onto the handlebars isn't going to end well. If you end up going too far forward with your feet, so the pedal's really far back on the sole, then that's going to feel really clumsy, and also then you're not using your calf muscles at all to pedal, so arguably you're not going to get as much power through the pedals. The correct position is what I call monkey feet. Let's imagine you have monkey's feet, and if that pedal's in the right spot, you can curl your toes over the front of the pedal and grip like that. Unfortunately, I don't have monkey feet, so I have to make do just getting my foot in the right spot. This video is actually sort of aimed towards flat pedal riders, but hopefully it should make sense to people who ride in clips as well. But we've actually done a video of how to set up your clips, moving your cleats around, things like that, so you can click up there for that one. And if you want to see a video on how to change your pedals, click down there. Click in the middle to subscribe to GMBN if you haven't done already.